Sir, good to go, sir. Video check, audio check, all good to go, sir. I'll make it online, sir. 3, 2, 1, on air, sir.
With the blessings of Honorable Chairman late Colonel Dr. Jeppiaar, we are indeed delighted and proud to host the 6th International Conference on Science, Technology, Engineering and Management. In fact, a conference where innovation and intelligence meet. Steve Jobs once said that innovation is the ability to see change as an opportunity and not as a threat. Today is a standing example for this quote as we all have gathered for the international conference amidst the COVID-19 situation. Let us begin the conference by paying reverence to Tamil Thai Varthu.
நீராடும் கடலுடுத்த நிலமடந்தை கெளியொழுகும் சீராடும் மதலமென நிகழ்வலத கண்டனுக்கு வெக்கணமும் அதில் சிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிறை முதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் வணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிழமை திறந்தியந்து செய்ய மறந்து வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே.
It is on occasions like this we get opportunities to test our knowledge and understanding. We look forward to get an exposure about what the best of brains are going to present us today. The theme of our conference is Enhancements in Industry 4.0. This conference is not just a routine conference, rather, it is a synergy of 5 co-located conferences, each specializing in specific areas of knowledge. Iconstem 20 comprises of 6 different tracks, where track 1 is about enhancements in industrial security and Internet of Things, shortly called as EISIT. Track 2 is about enhancements in industrial robotics, avionics and control engineering, shortly called as EIRACE. Track 3 is about enhancements in industrial communication, electrical, electronics and robotic instrumentation, shortly called as EICEERI. Track 4 is about enhancements in industrial biosecurity and environmental and structural transformation, shortly called as EIBEST. Track 5 is about business strategy for Industrial Revolution 4.0, shortly called as PSIR. And Track 6 is about enhancements in science and humanities. Now, I request Dr. V. Natarajan, Principal, Jeppiaar Engineering College, to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you. A very happy morning to one and all connected here. With the blessings of Honorable late Colonel Dr. Jeppiaar sir, founder Jeppiaar Educational Trust, and on behalf of Jeppiaar Engineering College, I cordially welcome everybody to 6th International Conference on Science, Technology, Engineering and Management, Iconstem 2020, based on the theme of Enhancement in Industry 4.0. First of all, I humbly welcome our dynamic Chairman and Managing Director, Dr. M. Regina Jeppiaar, Jeppiaar Group of Institutions, the driving force of this superlative conference stepping into the 6th consecutive year. Next, I graciously welcome the international chief guest, Mr. Yang Sok Kwan, Consulate General of Republic of Korea in Chennai. Welcome you, sir. I respectfully welcome Dr. Mohit Gambhir, Innovation Director, MHRD Innovation Cell, Government of India. I also welcome you, sir. I receptively welcome Dr. Selisha Stanley, Dean Academics, Convener of Iconstem 2020, Dr. Anita Titus, and Co-Convener Dr. M. Sasikumar, for their amazing efforts. I cheerfully welcome the heads of all the departments and organizing committee from various departments. I welcome you all. Today is not another day. It's a new opportunities, another chance, a new beginning, Let's clinch it. Once again, I welcome you one and all. Let's the academic zeal continue. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Shalisha A. Stanley, Dean of Academics, to deliver the Iconstem address.
Very good morning. Chief guest of the day, Mr. Yang Soop Khan, Consul General of the Republic of Korea in Chennai. Dr. Mohit Gambhir, Director of MHRD's Innovation Cell, Government of India. Dr. M. Regina Jeppiaar, our Chairman and Managing Director, Jeppiaar Engineering College. Dr. V. Nadarajan, Principal of Jeppiaar Engineering College. Dr. Anita Titus, Convener of the 6th Iconstem. Dr. Sasi Kumar, Co-Convener. All keynote speakers, session chairs, and participants. I am indeed very happy to brief you about the history and significance of Iconstem. Iconstem is an abbreviation of International Conference in Science, Technology, Engineering, and Management. Iconstem during the last 5 years gave the participants a chance to meet like-minded people and industry peers from various institutions across several states. The conference mainly drew students, research scholars, faculty, and industrialists from different geographical locations to share their findings on a related and selected theme. Now, this current 6th international conference, due to the pandemic challenges happening in a virtual manner, strives to provide the registrants a similar platform to share their area of interest and also to widen their knowledge base. The theme for this international conference is Enhancements in Industry 4. We accept the fact that the need of the hour is transformation in industry and would enable fast, effective data collection and analysis across machines, and that would provide flexible and efficient processes in making smart products. This would definitely provide ample opportunities for employment, thereby creating a sustainable and holistic livelihood for our fellow beings. This enhancement in Industry 4 refers to any industry, and especially we focus on agriculture and food industry, which is the most need of the hour. Industry Enhancements 4 focuses on automation and data exchange in manufacturing technologies and processes that include IoT, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, etc. These would facilitate a more holistic and better connected ecosystem for companies that focus not only on manufacturing but also on supply chain management as well. The 6 tracks that encompass a broad discipline of science, technology, engineering, and management is well explained by MC Ms. Mayuri, and I am happy to say that a total of 526 research papers from 1,123 candidates have been registered for this 6th international conference. Out of these 526 research papers, 62% of registrants are the outcome of engineering undergraduate students who have worked on engineering projects with manufacturing companies, research organizations, and project centers. 20% are the contributions of internal and external faculty members, research scholars, industrialists, and the remaining 18% are from postgraduates from various engineering colleges and from universities. These presentations today are scheduled with multiple platforms and multiple sessions, each with a keynote speaker and session chair and judges, and it would be a platform to discuss, debate, and critically review the findings. At the end of each session, the best papers would be scrutinized and certificates would be awarded. And at the end of the conference, registrants would be getting an ISBN proceedings that carries the abstracts. However, the manuscripts that are innovative, non-obvious, and passes the plagiarism check would be published in peer-reviewed high-impact journals. The registrants are provided with an e-certificate with a unique reference number. And the organizing committee and the institution values the feedback of registrants, and at the end of the session, a feedback is collected from the participants online. And with this brief introduction about Iconstem, we wish all the participants a chance to enhance both their understanding and widen their scope of research. Thank you for your patient listening and wishing you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. May I now request our vibrant chairman and managing director, Dr. M. Regina Jeppiaar, to declare the commencement of Iconstem 2020 open and deliver the presidential address.
Ma'am, you need to unmute, ma'am.
Good morning, one and all present here. I think you can hear me now. Yeah. So thank you so much for this wonderful effort taken by Jeppiaar Engineering College on this international conference. And I would like to welcome Mr. Young, Korean Council General, and Mr. Gambhir, MHRD. We would be a good support and strength for us to take this international conference a successful meet for us. And I would like to thank all the staffs, the students, the HODs, the principal, who have put in so much of effort in this pandemic to make this conference such a success. Wish you all, and I've declared this international conference open.
Thank you, ma'am. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our Honorable Chief Guest of the day, Mr. Young Suk Kon. Mr. Young Suk Kon is an Honorable Consul General of Republic of Korea in Chennai. He is a renowned social worker and has been an inspiration to many. About his education, he completed his master's in public policy in Seoul National University, Seoul, Korea in the year 1997. He was conferred with the degree of JD from School of Law from the University of Ghana, USA. Later, he worked at the Ministry of Government Administration and Home Affairs. In 2005, he joined the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade, and by 2006, he was the Director of Trade Policy Division in Multilateral Trade Bureau, MOFAT. In 2007, he designated as the Director of FTA Implementation Division in FTA Policy Bureau, MOFAT. In 2012, he became the Minister Counselor, Korean Embassy in the Kingdom of Thailand. And in 2015, he became the Minister, Korean Embassy in the Federative Republic of Brazil. He is dedicated to his contribution towards the Consulate General of South Korea. The Consulate General of South is one of the missions of South Korea in India, focusing on Korean interests in this region. It is located in Chennai and its jurisdiction includes the states of Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala, and the Union Territory of Puducherry. The Consulate General of South Korea increases awareness of Korea and Korean culture in South India. The Consulate General of the Republic of Korea in Chennai will offer best services to Korean residents and companies, as well as provide necessary protection to overseas Korean nationals. Now, I kindly request the Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Young Suk Kon, to deliver the inaugural address.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Okay, yes. I am Consul General of the Republic of Korea in Chennai. Now, I am very honored to have an opportunity to give an address as a chief guest in the 60th International Conference on Science, Technology, Engineering, and Management organized by the Jeppiaar Engineering College. Today, my speech will be based on my personal observations on the process of economic development of less developed or developing countries based on technological innovation. My address are divided into three parts. First, I will talk about how to climb up the ladder of technology to achieve economic development. Second, I will mention what the new challenges are in the fourth industrial revolution. Third, I will focus on what are the current and future relations between Korea and India, in particular, the South India. Let's begin from the question of how to climb up the ladder of technology to achieve economic development. The enhancement of technology is pivotal for the economic development from less developed countries to the developing countries and for overcoming middle income trap to become the truly advanced countries. At the early stage of economic development, the more inputs of labors, capitals, and lands can lead to the rapid economic development. But when the easy, lucrative businesses become more and more scarce and the labor costs rise, the returns on the capital investment has been diminishing. Unless the enhancement of technology has been made through technological innovations, I think the fierce, unlimited competition among companies in the open market is the best way to upgrade the technological level. as you know, Korea has been fiercely competing with Japan and China to keep its technological competitiveness. Since the beginning of the Korea's industrializations in the early 60s, Korean companies have been rapidly catching up Japanese companies, while Chinese companies have been rapidly catching up Korean companies. Korea's position is like a nutcracker between Japan and China. So without continuous innovation, Korea cannot survive, to be destroyed and be plummeted to the bottom. Korean companies have to compete under the continuous risks of debt, and thus, in order to survive, have to invest all of their resources to develop new technologies and keep its technological edges against Chinese and Japanese companies. In India, Korean automobile companies, Hyundai and Kia, are fiercely competing with, Maruti Suzuki. And Korean mobile phone companies, Samsung and LG, are fiercely competing with Chinese companies, Vivo, Oppo, Xiaomi, and other Chinese companies. In this respect, the competition in the open market is a true motivator for the technological innovations. Although the competition among companies in the open market is the best way to upgrade the technological level, I don't think the free market and free trade only can resolve development problems of developing countries, in particular at the early stage of development. The reason is very, very simple. The less developed countries do not have an effective, well-functioning market at the beginning level of economic development. They don't have sufficient money to invest human resources, technologies, and infrastructure. Just opening the market to the outside world can lead to the everlasting poverty. In this respect, at the early stage of economic development, the state's intervention in the market through industrial policies and tailor-made protective measures against imported goods are needed to create strategic industry in future economic developments. In the world history, no country has ever succeeded in developing its own economy without having good industrial policies and taking some protective measures at the early stage of economic development. However, we have to remember that industrial policies and protective measures are not enough for the rapid economic development. At least 3 conditions should be met to achieve successful economic development, in addition to industrial policies and protective measures. First is to have a good and competent governance system. Second is to have a larger private businessmen, to have a strong commitment to develop new industries. Third is to have an export-oriented policy instead of import substitution policy. Now, firstly, establishing a good governance system that is having a competent, clean, and efficient government is very, very important, regardless of its type of political system. So there are too many incompetent governments in the less developing countries. In addition, the role of state should be changed in accordance with the stage of the economic development, from more active to more market-oriented one. The government's ability to choose the best candidates of the future domestic champions in the world market is very, very important. Under the successive 5-year economic plan, Korea's 5-year economic plan, Korean government in 1960s chose the light industries such as textile as a strategic areas, and in 1970s, moved to heavy industries such as steel, petrochemical, shipbuilding, automobiles, and semiconductors. And then in 1990s, in particular after 1997 ASEAN financial crisis, moved to ICT and cultural industries, including establishing the most advanced ICT infrastructure and cultural products, and have supported them wisely. Now its focus changed to AI, 5G, BIOS, electronic batteries, and digital cultural products, including gaming. In addition to the support of specific industries, the Korean government has invested its money efforts to upgrade the general business environment, including good education and training system and sufficient R&D investments and the building of excellent infrastructures, including ICT digital infrastructures. If the government is not competent and not to change its role in accordance with the level of development from more active to less active, the economic development based on the technological innovation is impossible. Secondly, having lots of private businessmen to have strong commitment to develop new industry is pivotal. The government can only provide a seed money to start the company, but the main role should be played by the businessmen. Fortunately, Korea had several true entrepreneurs and industrialists who were ready to face lots of difficulties and obstacles to develop new industries in the new eras, such as steels, automobiles, electronics, shipbuildings, and semiconductors. They had to create competitive industries from nothing. Based on my experience in other countries where I had worked, the businessmen in most of the less developed or developing countries just want to involve in the businesses in safer and easier industries, such as real estate, construction, mining, based on lots of natural resources in their countries, and the distribution industries. While the development of more difficult and risky industries just depends on the foreign companies. Thirdly, the final purpose industrial policy and trade restriction should be to create competitive domestic companies, which are competitive in the world market to export the final products to the world. In this respect, I think the export-oriented policy is much more efficient than the sole import substitution policy. Creating highly competitive domestic companies which have an ability to export most of their products is much more difficult to create the companies which can only substitute the domestic markets. Unlike companies which exist only for the domestic markets, the globally competitive, export-oriented companies can benefit from the economy of scale of the whole world market and can grow much bigger and hire much more workers. In particular, to survive in the world market, the continuous technological innovation is essential. On the other hand, the bad managed import substitution policy even hurts the other domestic industries by preventing them from using cheaper, better imported components, materials, and equipments at the appropriate time, and by reducing foreign direct investment of foreign companies. And in order that the export-oriented policies to be successful, the open and liberal global trade system is necessary. Fortunately, Korea has enjoyed the stable and open global market under the WTO during the process of economic development. In conclusion, without good governance and strongly committed businessmen in the right of creating national champions in the world market, the robust and sustainable economic development is impossible. While overcoming various kinds of crises, such as oil crisis and financial crisis, historically, the success rate of this development policy has been very, very low, because to meet the above three conditions has been very, very difficult. The government was not competent. The businessmen want to have an easy business in the real estate or sales industries instead of challenging new, more risky businesses. The government has failed to open its market, although its domestic companies are ready to compete in the open market. I think India has an advantage against other countries. India has a huge, rapidly expanding domestic market. India also has a lot of highly committed entrepreneurs, real industrialists with animal spirit. And, lots of startups, including several unicorns by young people and highly educated Indian diasporas are flourishing in India. India also has a strong competitiveness in areas softwares and IT-enabled services. India has also excellent education system for engineers, including IITs. The fierce competition among the Indian states will greatly contribute to attract more foreign direct investment and to improve the business environment for the companies. But India needs to have an utmost efforts to make the governance system more efficient through continuous reforms, increasing its R&D budgets and creating the best infrastructures, and to take export-oriented policies instead of the import substitution, self-reliant policies by having actively pursuing free trade agreements, connections with other countries. I think there are lots of Indian domestic industry which are already ready to compete with the foreign companies. And if you can make domestic companies, including multinational companies in India, to compete with foreign companies in the open markets, they can become true national champions by upgrading its technological and productivities, like TVS, Bajaj Auto, Hero Moto. For example, Korean companies had very big concerns on opening its electronic markets to Japanese companies in 80s and 90s, when Japanese companies like Sony, Panasonic were dominating the global market. However, the Korean government bravely opened its market to Japan. Now, Samsung, LG are dominating the world in the electronics market, and Japanese companies such as Sony and Panasonic have lost its competitiveness. So next, I will talk about what are the new challenges in the fourth industrial revolution. The competition on technology development in the fourth industrial revolution is very fierce among nations and companies. The trade war between the USA and China is actually the technology war in the advanced areas such as AI, machine learning, 5G. The biggest difference between the third and fourth industrial revolution is the importance of the data and the size of the available market. The more data you have, the more quickly you can upgrade your level of AI technology. And the bigger the size of domestic market is, the more advantageous the company is to establish its own platform and ecosystem. So in this respect, I think the USA, China, India are more advantageous in the fourth industrial revolution. The biggest challenge to Korean tech companies are to overcome its disadvantages in the area of lack of data and the small size of domestic market and language barriers. Not using English. In this respect, India is the best partner to Korean tech companies, big tech companies, which are very good at the hardware, but are just so-so in the software. So India is using English and have lots of excellent software engineers, and the domestic market is huge, the data are huge. I think the synergy effects between Korean companies and Indian software companies will be great. And the bigger cooperation will result in a mutually beneficial effect, both on India and Korea. Next, the only thing which has been strengthened during the corona pandemic crisis is the internet and telecom connections. The video conference, like this one, working from homes, telemedicine, home entertainment, online social networking, autonomous delivery, and online shopping, drones have been increasing and becoming new normal. Therefore, the importance of having the most advanced and fast telecom and internet infrastructure has been greatly increased. This infrastructure will be the most important base for the post-corona economy. The big challenge in the fourth industrial revolution is to keep the multilateral open trade system strong and intact. The new technology, including AI, robots, driverless cars, and smart factories, has been destroying lots of existing jobs. The mass unemployment caused by the technological development has been resulted in various kinds of protective measures and anti-immigration legislations. By finding lone culprits for the mass unemployment, and populist leaders and policies has been gaining popularity around the world. The countries have to develop excellent programs to retrain the unemployed workers being caused by the technological innovation and to facilitate the structural change of the industries by establishing compensatory mechanism for the companies or workers negatively affected by the fourth industrial revolutions. But establishing compensatory system and timely achieving structural change is much more difficult than taking a protective measures or anti-immigration measures. So furthermore, the corona pandemic has been accelerating the trend of deglobalization and the weakening of the multilateral system. In this respect, the like-minded countries, which are the strong supporters of multilateral system, should double its efforts to maintain the multilateralism by reforming the current inefficient, incompetent multilateral system together. Although it is very difficult, given the current conflicts such as China-USA rivalries. But it is also true that we cannot resolve lots of urgent global issues, including climate change, anti-terrorism, world peace, without having a strong multilateral organizations and international corporations. Finally, I will talk about what are the current and future relations with South India and Korea. As of today, more than 250 Korean companies, including Hyundai and Kia Motors, Samsung Electronics, have been investing in the South India. Around 7,000 Korean peoples are working and living in the South India, only South India, composing the largest expatriate community in Chennai. Recently, Kia Motors established its factory in Anantapur in Andhra Pradesh. In comparing with other countries' investment, the strength of Korean investment in India are follows. Most of the investment are greenfield investments, building new factories and creating lots of new jobs, not just the M&A of existing Indian companies or buying stocks of Indian companies. Samsung, Hyundai, Kia, LG, and other Korean big companies build new factories in India. It's a greenfield, investment. Second, Korean companies has been procuring most of components or ingredients locally. For example, Hyundai, automotive has been producing the engines and transmissions, the most important parts in car industry in India instead of importing from Korea or other countries. Thirdly, they are very active in technology. Korean companies are very active in technology transfer and training Indian workers and have established R&D centers in India. And in many cases, the technologies being developed in India have been applied in other factories in the world. And they are exporting the big share of their products to other countries such as West Asia, Africa, Latin America by using India as the regional hub. Finally, they think that the Indian engineers are very, very creative, in particular in the development of software programs and developing technology to reduce costs, so-called, jugaad, frugal innovation, improvisations. I am sure this kind of jugaad, innovation turns into the true innovations in the near future. I am sure about that. And both countries are in the final stage of the upgrading the current, comprehensive economic partnership agreement, having been entered in 2010, and have a plan to increase the bilateral trade volume to $50 billion by 2030. And recently, Korea's cultural products, including K-pops, dramas, movies, are rapidly gaining popularity among young Indians, and the Korean cosmetic products, foods are becoming more and more popular in the Indian market. And more Indian companies like Mahindra, Tata are also investing in Korea. So this means that the students who can speak a little bit Korean languages and have a bigger understanding about Korean cultures, in addition to expertise in the STEM, science, technology, engineering, maybe mathematics or management, will have better job opportunity in Korean companies in India and Indian companies in Korea. In conclusion, if Korea's Look-South policy effectively connects with India's domestic reforms and external openings and India's range of strengths, the Korean companies can greatly contribute to upgrading India's manufacturing industrial sectors and to make its manufacturing sector and other sectors more competitive and productive in the world. I hope this conference to be very successful, and I want to thank you, all of you, and to have an opportunity to personally visit your college in the near future after coronavirus. Thank you very much. That's all I have.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your motivating speech. We are so privileged to have you here. It is indeed a privilege to introduce our guest of honor, Dr. Mohit Gambhir. Dr. Mohit Gambhir is working as the Innovation Director, MHRD Innovation Cell, Government of India. MIC is committed to systematically foster innovation culture in all higher education institutions. The primary mandate of Innovation Cell is to encourage, inspire, and nurture young students by exposing them to new ideas. Dr. Gambhir belongs to the first breed of techno-legal professionals out of India. By qualification, he is a PhD in computer engineering and LLB in IPR. He has extensive work experience in IP space such as patent portfolio generation, advising inventors, cooperate in channelizing their IP activities, tech transfer, technological scouting, and many more. Dr. Gambhir is involved in multiple initiatives driven by MIT and has been an active member of many other various high-level committees. He has also taken the charge of Government of India's flagship program, Smart India Hackathon 2020, as Member Secretary of Executive Committee. Dr. Gambhir's later venture, The Inspired, is engaged in creating valuable business assets for its clients by safeguarding their IP rights. It provides customized and high-quality services to high-tech and low-tech industries by utilizing their rich talent pool, having both the depth of knowledge and depth of experience. Now, I request our guest of honor, Dr. Mohit Gambhir, to deliver the special address.
Thank you so much, and I believe I am perfectly audible. And I would like to welcome Honorable Consul General of Korea, Republic of Korea, Mr. Young. Mr. Young, it was mesmerizing to hear you, and also I would like to thank Jeppiaar management, Dr. Regina, and other team members who have brought this wonderful conference together, conceived and planned. And I hope it will turn out to be a boon for the researchers who are going to present in another sessions. Now, while I was hearing to Mr. Young, I would like to highlight a couple of things, Honorable Consul General. We already have, so I happen to be in DIG in October last year, 2019. And to the audience who are sitting here, I would also, I went there as a delegate exchange. So we, from AICTE, that is the body who regulates the technical education in India, and CCEI, that is governed by Ministry of Skill, I believe, Republic of Korea, SMEs, skill and SMEs. So we have an MOU that every year we exchange couple of students. We take from India 4 or 5 budding entrepreneurs startup for 5 days visit, and CCEI, they facilitates it. And last I was there, we were having Global Innovation Fiesta over there. And so that's really wonderful to see that so much of action happening over there. And our students or our budding entrepreneurs who were into their final year, they were able to exchange their thoughts. They were able to see that what is going around and actually understand the true incubation culture. And the best part which I liked, it was that CCI, the county the kind of an arrangement those cities can come over and work in the incubation center, be it a kid, be it an adult, and they can work for their ideas, they can work for their startups. And I'm certainly sure that in India we lack that, and we have to move into that direction so that a common man or a common citizen or a student across anywhere can come over to that facility and see his or her ideas taking shape. So that is the key takeaway which I took over from there. And it was all in all, those 5 days, they were worth spent of my life. And so thank you so much for that, Consul General. Thanks for having such facilities back there in Republic of Korea. Now coming towards our Indian scenario to the audience, which I would like to brief about that what we are doing in innovation space and the Industry 4.0, the topic which has been precisely designed. So what steps has been taken from our end, that is innovation cell of Ministry of Human Resource and Development, that we are working upon, and what initiatives we have done so that our youth brigade, the students who are currently in graduation of their engineering schools and other stuff, so what they need and how we can actually nurture them more so that they can become successful entrepreneur, and if not intrapreneur at least. So the point is, in India, generally our education system, we go by a very standard curriculum based system we have. So what we felt that there is a need to supplement the knowledge or supplement that stuff with other latest things which are going in the industry so that our students can come up to the pace. So we started establishing institutions, innovation councils across the country. And as of now, we have 1,600 of them in various colleges. And the primarily mandate what we are doing from there is we are we are educating students with design thinking, cognitive skills, with IPR, with ideation processes, with entrepreneurship skills, with technology transfers. So something which is direly required, something which is which can harness their skills and can make them fundamentally strong. And then I believe maybe it is Industry 4.0 or maybe Industry 6.0, whatsoever comes over. So then these students, they will be prepared to take those kind of challenges in near future. So we are trying to inculcate that habit into them, to do more research, to devote the time in doing more research, no matter what situation is, no matter what kind of new technology is. If their research aptitude is increased, or if they are able to understand how to ideate, then I'm sure that they will be successful, much more successful. So now, apart from it, coming towards another important event, which I believe in my profile as well, it was highlighted that I'm governing Smart India Hackathons. And I'm sure Honorable Consul General would also be interested to know what it is all about. The Smart India Hackathon is something which has become a rage in the country. And it has attracted more than this year. So we are doing it since past 3-4 years now. And the essence of it is what happens, the state government ministries, central government ministries, even private corporations, they join hands and they submit problem statements. And on those problem statements, then our students of colleges, higher education institutions, they participate in a team format, and they try to provide a solution for those problem statements. And then we try to take up that how many of those solutions can be taken forward, can be converted into a legit startup, or even if not, then we are able to gauge that how many of those youth brigade, they are able to think into the direction of entrepreneurship, and how we can align them with other government schemes or the policies which are going on, so that we can increase our startup count, our entrepreneurial count, and increase in turn our GII, that is Global Innovation Index of our country. So something which we started doing past 1.5 year, and a lot of action has happened. And to the scale of it, I'm sure all the audience would be pleased to know that this year's edition, though we started that we will be doing it physically, but maybe again because of the pandemic, the ongoing COVID situation, we have decided to move it to altogether into a virtual mode, and we have shortlisted around 10,000 students, mentors, approximately. So you just believe the scale of it. First time ever, they would be participating in a virtual mode. And our Jeppiaar college is one of the nodal centers of that as well. So we just take around 35 to 40 nodal centers across the country, where earlier what used to happen, students used to come from across all over the country, and like 150 to 200, so that they are able to see the culture, they are able to travel across the country. Many a times we felt that there are students who are financially they are not pretty well off, though they are running some learning through scholarships. So to show them across the what is happening around the country, what is going around different cultures, this program has turned out to be a real fruitful one. And the outcome is then we focus on generation of more IPs, we focus on generation of more startups, and with the appropriate fundings, so that we can handhold those students. And now coming towards another thing, Industry 4.0, I believe, which is the prima facie objective, what we are trying to discuss today. But, I would like to begin that Government of India's, we are pushing hard for Make in India initiative, and it has attracted a considerable attention, I believe, from the industry overall and even whole through the globe. And considering Make in India, then considering Industry 4.0, I'm sure many of you people, you are aware of that what it includes, like advanced materials, advanced robotics, 3D printing, and a lot of other things. And it has many facets actually, like Industry 4.0, like upcoming trend of automation, then data exchange, what we are thinking to going to have primarily in manufacturing sector as well. Then cyber physical systems, we'll be having IoTs, which we are working, cloud computing, a lot more. So in a way, we say that it creates sort of smart factory, whereby we say, yes, Industry 4.0, it is being developed, and the capability we have in India of ICT, the English-speaking population, as Mr. Young also highlighted, I believe we have all the possibility in the damn good word to at least come or compete along with some leaders in Industry 4.0. And if we go back, generally like industry, if we try to understand our industry, how we overall look around, it started with steam engines, the first machines that mechanized, or maybe our ancestors they started developing it. And over the years, we moved on. We have seen Industry 2.0, and then now in Industry 4.0, primarily, it's going to become more and more intelligent. On the contrary, like the advent of fast communication technologies like 5G and all. So it's like talking machines, and they are moving along, talking buildings and whatnot. So as I was highlighting, I would like to walk through like industry. If we say first revolution, it was like mechanical facilities with the water and steam power. Then we moved on to second. It was like mass production. It was assembly line, electrical energies and all. Then we moved on to third revolution. It was application of electronics and IT to automate products. Now, then we say Industry 4.0, that is industrial revolution. It's like an introduction of our cyber physical production systems, whereby, as I was highlighting, machines talking to machines, giving us more and more facility. Though there is one another thing which I would also like to highlight. Many people, they do worry about that. Yes, every revolution is bound to bring in some sentimental change. I still remember when India was moving towards rapid IT revolution and a lot of automation in the respect of computers, they were bought in, and people, they got worried in the manufacturing or in the industrial sector that now our jobs will be taken up by these machines and computers. But on the contrary, if you look back, I believe that revolution only strengthened India's position as an IT giant, whereby everybody moved into the IT sector and a lot of programmers India produced. And the way it all happened, initially we were being termed as service providers. Then over the course of period, we moved on to co-creators, and as it's been highlighted, now more and more unicorns are coming up from the country, and the world is somehow started perceiving us as a creator as well of a couple of things. So this is a sort of transition, I believe, which has started happening. And with the advent of big data, the cloud computing, Internet of Things, all kind of simulation exercises, then autonomous robots, and augmented reality, cybersecurity, system integrations, and this additive manufacturing processes, whereby now even I have seen in India as well that the manufacturing capabilities and where the machines they are sighting up there, at the end of the day they generate a report that this much of production happened, this much of output was driven, it was the conversion rate was such, every kind of a data by the end of the day when the production is over. So it sends it across towards the mobile apps, to the websites, and the data is by default it is saved, it is stored. Now further, there is again I'd like to highlight, like people, they say that Industry 4.0. So I believe it offers altogether a new opportunity for developing a new business models, apart from the improving the existing ones which we have. That is, we can use our existing knowledge strategy, and to implement the 4.0, we can come up with like smart factory systems, which I already highlighted, as in a cyber physical systems, which links the physical and virtual world by communicating through the IT infrastructure and IoT. It is like move on to smart operations, like we have cloud usage, IT security, data-driven services will be more and more required. And then again, coming to our employer, I'm sure just like I cited an example, they were afraid of, but we even are not aware of. In a way, a lot of opportunities may come in. Only thing is we have to upgrade ourselves, our skills in a way that yes, we can be we can get used to, we can get accustomed to the new changes or the new things which are going to come in. I still remember way back 25-30 years ago, I was in my graduation days, and when a non-technical fellow, by non-technical I mean to say someone who was of civil engineering degree, he just did a short computer course and immediately hired by an IT industry, and he started working on programming languages. Now coming towards this Industry 4.0 now, and the way AI and big data is coming up, I believe over the years and coming years, an individual may not be destined to work in a particular domain over the whole life cycle of 35 years of a career or 40 years of career. It might be that there is rapid change. It has to be ever evolving. So as a human being, we need to shed out our notion of being a stereotype that yes, we have acquainted a particular qualification and we have to just stick to it for another 35 to 40 years. No way. So it's as the advent of AI coming in, the blockchain coming in, and all those things, again, I would like to highlight or mention A3 of Korea, the AR/VR pioneer. So the situation VR will come in, or maybe brain implants, which some people has already started talking. So we just need to get used to it, as in change ourselves and get accustomed to the new system and the opportunities which will be coming in. Now, coming towards how we can do that as an Indian scenario, I believe only single word which we cater to is innovation. Until and unless we believe and we come up with innovation, very, very good innovation practices, there is no way out. We can, even compete, we can surge, or we can collaborate with the industries, with our counterparts. And another as well, so working in silos, that we also need to shed. It is working solo doesn't make any sense now. It's all about connected world altogether. So it's like if we know somebody who is better than us, we should acquaint that knowledge. If we are aware of something, we should actually be ready to share. It has to be a collaborative effort altogether, so that we can generate more and more innovative products which can make our life simpler. And at the end of the day, I believe I have taken enough of the time. I would only like to say that all these researchers who are going to present their papers, please focus on the quality aspects. Please focus on the stuff that what you are working on. And it's a genuine request from my end. Please work on the technology which try to make our world a healthier place and a lovable place to live in. Thank you so much, everyone, and I wish all the best to Jeppiaar management as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your motivation.
1 minute. Thank you, sir. With this, we have a 1 minute video about Smart India Hackathon. We are very pleasure to share that video before in front of you. I'll share right away now, sir.
What will take country forward? Good initiative to ignite the thinking amongst the students to solve societal problems. This is the young generation. This is what New India is. This is what New India is. Today, this is world's largest hackathon. Hackathon. What a fantastic concept. What a platform.
It's a big platform to explore your ideas. It's a very big platform for the students, developers.
And this is one of the greatest opportunities is that the students can work on real time technology.
One of the greatest accomplishments of our institution in this twin year is the successful execution of Iconstem 2020. As a reminiscence of this event, the institution has come out with a souvenir containing the research papers. With the witness of the delegates present here, we are privileged to release the souvenir of Iconstem 2020. Convener and Head of the Department, Electronics and Communication Engineering, to deliver the vote of thanks.
A very pleasant morning to all our distinguished guests, invitees, and participants. As the convener of Iconstem 2020, it's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks. I first thank God Almighty for blessings and grace that has made this conference a reality today. My respectful thanks to our beloved Chairman and Managing Director, Madam Dr. M. Regina Jeppiaar, for supporting us and encouraging us to bring out this online edition of Iconstem 2020. Thank you, Madam. My sincere thanks to Professor Dr. V. Natarajan, Principal Jeppiaar Engineering College, and to our Dean Academics, Professor Salisha A. Stanley, the continual guidance support in organizing this event. I thank our guests for the day, Mr. Yang Suk Kwon, Consul General, Republic of Korea in Chennai, and Dr. Mohit Gambhir, Innovation Director, MHRD Innovation Cell, Government of India, for accepting our invitation and inaugurating this conference in spite of their busy schedules. Thank you, sir. I express my thanks to the distinguished Dr. A. Atif Shah, Chairman and Managing Director, AB Semiconductors Design Chennai, Mr. S.P. Balamurugan, Co-founder and CEO, GUI.in, Dr. S. Jayanti, Associate Professor, School of Mechanical Engineering, VIT Chennai Campus, Dr. Mohammad Rashid, Professor of Electrical and Computer Engineering, Florida Polytechnic University, USA, Dr. R. Mugam Perumal, Director R&D, Armato, Biotech Training and Research Institute, Chennai, Mr. Nitin Botra, Director, Nitin Wire Group, and Professor Dr. K. Pandian, Controller of Examinations, University of Madras. I place on record my heartfelt thanks to all the session chairs who are a part of the technical panel and who have accepted our invitation. I am indebted to thank all the heads of the departments, the organizing committee members of Iconstem 2020, the teaching faculty, the Students Development Cell of Jeppiaar Engineering College for extending complete and unconditional support in organizing this event. Most importantly, I thank the nearly 1,100 plus participants who will be presenting their papers today during the technical sessions that follow. The success of this conference is certainly due to you. Coming together is a beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success. Thank you all once again and have an awesome day. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's move on to our technical session. I request you all to join your respective meeting rooms with a given link. Kindly pay reverence to the national anthem.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Wish you all have a fruitful session ahead. Good luck.
Vinu sir. Deepak.
சார் இருக்கேன் சார்.
கொஞ்சம் பேச காமிங்கப்பா. ஸ்பெஷல் மென்ஷன். தேங்க்ஸ் பண்ணுங்க.
சார்.
சார் சல்மா சார் சூப்பர் சார்.
சார் லைவ் எண்ட் பண்ணிட்டீங்களா சார்?
இல்ல இல்ல இப்பதான் முடியுது. அது என்ன முடியல.
ஓகே சார் நான் தேங்க்யூ ஸ்கிரீன் போட்டேன். நான் தேங்க்யூ ஸ்கிரீன் போட்டு விட்டேன்.
ஓகே ஓகே ஓகே. நேஷனல் முடிச்சோம்னா கட் பண்ணிரலாமாங்க? ஆமா சார் கட் பண்ணிடலாம்.
சார் எல்லா டிபார்ட்மென்ட்டுக்கும் மெசேஜ் பண்ணியாச்சு. செஷன் இது கீனோட்டுக்கு எல்லாம் ரெடி ஆயிட்டாங்க.
கோ கன்வீனர் சார் கலகறீங்க.
கீனோட் எல்லாம் ரெடி.
சூப்பர்.
தேங்க்யூ சார்.
சார் ஆனா இது 200 பிளஸ் மெம்பர்ஸ் அதுல அட்டெண்ட் பண்ணிருக்காங்க.
ஆமா பார்த்தேன் நானும். கமெண்ட்ஸும் வந்துகிட்டு இருக்கு, சாட் பாக்ஸ்ல கமெண்ட்ஸும் வந்துகிட்டே இருக்கு எல்லார்கிட்ட இருந்தும்.
ஆமா